All right, now that I got my rounded corners, next order of business is a gradient. I basically want some kind of a gradient color for my background over here, my background for the container. And, well, guess what? CSS again to the rescue. Uh, you know, if you didn't know about these gradients, you do know that CSS is a stylistic thing. So your first thing that you should do is go CSS color. Let's see, gradient. Yeah, there we go. And well, there you have it. Speed up your CSS3 gradients. Chris Coiter over here has an article on the topic. And you'll see that again, the first time I made these videos, I was using a jQuery plugin to do that because at the time, support for what is the linear gradient CSS attribute just wasn't supported well at all. I think at the time it was only supported by Safari, but now we it's there's a lot of I was going to say ubiquity. Yeah, there's pretty much the majority of browsers all support them. They all have their browser specific prefixes over there. And if we kind of look down the way, we also have right here Trident. For older versions of Internet Explorer, we have some not really CSS, but code we put in our CSS that Microsoft, or rather Internet Explorer only could read. So let's get right into it. I mean, for starters, we could say that there's not much more. I mean, we're really going to copy and paste the code over here because this code is going to do what I want it to do. If we kind of just eyeball what's happening, it's right over here, just a regular WebKit, which I'm not all necessarily. Nah, I'll do it for Safari 4 as well. I mean, we're kind of going back there too, because Apple's so good with forcing people to update that you don't have that many stragglers with Apple products. But if we kind of just look at the declaration and read it, you could kind of see what's going on here. So we have a linear gradient. Top, I'm assuming we're starting at the top with the gradient, and we have one color at the top, and it's going to gradiate to the other color. Mind you, I'm just assuming here, so why don't we just copy and paste it and see what we get. Actually, I want to copy and paste. I don't need the fallbacks right now. I'm not going to get into that. So let me just copy the linear gradient attributes. And I'm going to pop them, of course, right into my container. And there we have it. They look pretty good. Let me just space them just perfectly because I like to do that kind of stuff. And there we go. Let's just see what the result is before we even muck around with the code. Let's go back here. So here's what it looks like before and after. Very nice. Okay, this works for me. I mean, this is not exactly what I was looking for. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create maybe like I'm going to go like kind of a gray to darker gray, if you will. So let's see. Instead of selecting this color, I'm hoping Dreamweaver, here we go. I'll start off with this light gray, so it's just a little bit different than my white. And then I'll start over here with, or end rather, with that darker 333 gray. And let me just replace all this stuff here. Not that I need to for each and every one if I'm just looking at it through Firefox, but no, I'd rather just get all my code in now. Now let's see. Let me give it a refresh. And there you have it. Pretty good. Pretty good. And of course, fortunately, because it interacts with our jQuery, when you stretch it out, so does the gradient. And this is nice. I mean, like I said before, when I was trying to do this, I ended up having to use JavaScript to do it, which wasn't that great. We want to keep our presentation in CSS. But now, here I am in IE9, and if I refresh, okay, I'm missing the gradients. So I need to add some IE9 specific code. And see, it says, okay, the code here is background image, and you have the MS prefix. This is only going to work in IE10. So I'm only at IE9 right now. So what I need to do is use this filter property that Microsoft has, and I'm just going to copy it right here down at this article. Oh, by the way, just in case you missed the link, it's css-tricks.com/css3-gradients. It's unlikely that URL is going to change. So, all right, let me pop that into Dreamweaver now, and there you go. So now we need to change these. This is a whole lot more complicated than just regular old CSS, and I wouldn't say this is necessarily real CSS, just some IE specific declarations. You see that semantically it gives us a little more information. See, with the gradient type, I don't know, if I was just looking at this code for the first time, I don't know what it is, but I guess we'll figure it out if we first implement it and then change it, I guess, from a 0 to a 1. But this is pretty obvious. Start color string, and then we have to give it a value, a hex value, and end color string, we have to give it a hex value. Well, let me just tell you, you got to give these guys a 6-digit hex value. So don't just use CCC, because it won't work. I'm almost positive it won't work. So I'll verify that in a second. But let's just verify that this filter property works. And let's go here to IE, give it a refresh, and there you go. And look at that. If you kind of look closely, you notice that it's a little bit funky. There's some funkiness going on over here. But this is IE9, and let's just see what this would look like in IE8. Pretty cool. It still works. It still works for us nicely, and that's what's important. Do we dare go to 7? Things break down. No, I mean, the gradient works in 7, but our layout breaks down. But I'm not actually worried. At this point in the game, I'm not worried about IE7. But I guess last thing that I want to check too is, I remember when I first used this, you couldn't use just like that shorthand for the color gradients. So let me just verify that that's still the case. It may not be, but let's see. Yeah, I mean, this is so here you go. This is the default colors when you put in these gradients from blue to black. So that just shows you that in fact it doesn't work. You need those 6-digit values, or those 6-digit hex values in there if you want to make sure that it's going to work in Internet Explorer.